We back. We back.
Okay.
Yeah, we had to everything stop all at once.
Somebody put on the post too much heat. And this is why I was talking to you before. These are the conversations we need to have on a consistent basis, right?
Yeah,
because what I always say to people, and me and my executive director from Trent House and my man Jelani Garrett, right? We always say the narrative is being written one way or another.
Right.
What we do or don't do feeds or fuels a narrative or corrects it. So when you talk about anything you're talking about, if nobody's built like what we building on here, people gonna grab this and run with this today. Because we talking about a lot of relevant topics on simple fundamental issues, and that's what I think the transformation or turnaround of society requires. People building on fundamentals. You know what I mean? So I'm excited about this dialogue.
Look at another thing from one of our old interviews. Like I said, one of our artists, he recorded it.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, he got you there. So, it's another good statement you made.
Public safety issue. Now I'm on 36 roads, and you have a city within a city where people die on a regular basis and nobody says anything. So people have been conditioned to sets of conditions, which mostly are based in poverty-based issues. So my goal is to have conversations with simple people on the planet who live in the city to teach and educate them to become empowered, but more importantly, become responsible, to no longer sit alongside and watch their city crumble and point fingers, or simply not care. Because a lot of times when you're in bad areas, bad conditions, bad circumstances for a long period of time, you forget what good looks like, what requires of you as an individual. So my thing is just to educate people to want to have better, and to do that, you oftentimes have to illustrate and show them that better exists.
Yeah.
So
I remember that.
Yeah,
I had that. I gotta get that CD. I got it in the car too.
That's on track 7. Both one is at the beginning.
Yeah, he told me he was gonna do that. I forget I think we was building one time. He was like, "Yo, I'm gonna be snatching." So I said, "Man, do what you gotta do."
Yeah,
and then when I heard it, I was like,
the song he put in, he talked about the young boy raising the family home,
right?
Struggling, single family home, struggling with his mom's. You know, she out there on drugs and stuff.
Right.
He out there doing his little 1-2s. You got the big homie come through, push this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? End up getting caught up in that lifestyle, and now, you know, what I mean, at the end of the day, he's out of there.
Right. And you talking about young, like for instance, I'm gonna say because it's real. I got a 13, 14-year-old that I deal with, right, who pays the public service bill in his house.
Oh, that's deep. That's real.
His mom told him if he want to live there, he got to pay that.
Now,
when you look at me and you can talk about the wrong and this and that,
right.
But he got to deal with that dynamic handed to him. Right now, at 13, 14, where he working at? So we know what he doing.
Yeah.
Right. But the reality I'm saying is the system has put him into a position where when you and I talk about education, school, skill vote, he not hearing that.
He's not receiving none of that
because he's in a perpetual state of survival, and education for him means the next package.
Yeah.
And I'm just saying, I'm not okaying it. I'm not excusing it, but I am saying that is a fundamental
part.
Trying
to get another connect, all that type of
right.
stuff. You know what I mean? All that stuff that's irrelevant to that should be irrelevant to a young man's life like that.
Right. He should be giving thought to his purpose, how he gonna build his career,
right?
What area in life he gonna master, what things he gonna tap into, and then the other piece I always say is he should just be enjoying being a child.
The child, period.
You know, and when you put them in those type of environments, you know, they different. You know, exactly. And anybody who talks like that now,
they become more of a I would say like this, more of an animal type mindset. Because we revolt. You know what I'm saying? You guys should go reverse to that living off an instinct more than anything.
And you survive. And I say to people all the time, any inner city, any city period, but inner cities in particular, right, who are looking to move into a place of productivity, you have to move the people who populate those communities from survival to thriving.
Right.
Meaning they have an opportunity to productively see themselves advancing each and every day they breathe air. So the moment we stay in survival mode 24/7, our thought process is different. We move in a different manner. we're more reckless in terms of our words, ways, and actions.
I'm saying more quicker to prone to violence.
Right. All of these are. And see, when people talk about like we could talk about the situation that happened out in Lawrence that we're dealing with right now with the young queen being urinated on.
Now that's crazy.
But that's really when you talk. I put a post this morning about lynching, right? And how the president used that terminology real loosely.
Because he's trying to be able to impeach.
Right.
This impeachment is a form of lynching or something.
Right.
Like that.
But that science and that reality puts you into a place and space where you really see the power of the systems of structural institutional racism. It creates environments.
But on top of that, I heard these young boys, they're not like Caucasian, they're Indian
descent. No, Indian descent. So you have the real question should be asked after you hold everybody. First and foremost, and here we go through problem solving.
Right.
First and foremost, every and anybody who was involved with the situation need to be held accountable.
Right.
They need to be charged.
From the police,
right,
all the way down to the students.
All the way down. They need to be held accountable for what they did. There were Caucasian people involved who walked up and accosted these young queens, called them niggas, told them, you're not wanted here. They should be held accountable. There were officers who were approached, told about it. They didn't act on it. It was only after talking to the mayor that night, which he didn't even know about it, because I didn't know about it till I saw one of the mothers, who I love.
Posted on social media.
Right. And when she posted on social media, I immediately told her, where we were, what we were doing, and I told her I would reach out to the mayor. Because I know him, Chris Bobbitt, good dude, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, Mayor of Lawrence?
Mayor of Lawrence.
Okay.
Yeah, so he and I are real cool. Good dude. Chris is a good dude. He's about productivity. He's about progressively moving things forward. He's about caring about the people. Right. I will say that. I have supreme confidence in him taking this and moving it forward. But like I said to him, accountability has to be the first part. The second part has to be a reality of him making sure the victims, these two young queens and anybody else who was impacted, especially the one who was urinated on.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's a whole nother level of just craziness, right? Yeah. And I said, you're lucky that the right components wasn't there.
Because they were in them boys.
Come on, man. I'm just saying, I'm not.
They said the certain individual was there, that could have escalated to a whole nother level.
You'd have had bloodshed.
A whole nother level.
You'd have had bloodshed.
Because this is something you usually don't hear. Unfortunately, you don't hear shit like this unless it's coming from the South.
Right. But it's real. Alabama, and see, right. But crazy. After you deal with the victims, right, and you structure solutions around their pain, their trauma, so that they are part of the solution. Third thing has to be a question of understanding the depths of racism. If an Indian descent, right, individual is using a word he himself would be called when you're talking about this society,
because they're pigment in that skin. This is
right. But you know what happens when they get into environments in suburban communities and they get around affluent people, they build relationships with peers of Caucasian students who accept and bring them in. Now you start to hear the language, you start to see the way they're acting, and because you're accepted in that circle, you start to embrace those qualities they do. So now you are someone who's of a non-white descendant status, saying a word that has often probably been said to you. So again, the power of racism is to understand that it impacts all involved. It's not just white and black.
Also, another thing is this: they sit down. I mean, definitely hold these boys accountable. Sit down and find out what was the thinking behind this whole situation.
And what took you to a place, right, where you took the human decency to a level of just urinating on a young one, on anybody. But what took you to that place?
Yeah, this one is not sexual. It's crazy.
Right. You want to know what took them there.
Yeah, that's I'm thinking, I'm hearing the news like, all right, Lawrence is kind of crazy, you know what I'm saying? People act weird over there sometimes out there. So, you get that kind of, you get wind of certain things out there from time to time. But when I heard that there was Indian descent, I was like, these people call them, like some people call them sand niggas.
Right. No, for real. Listen,
you know what I mean?
But that's why I said that third piece has to be a conversation. And it's not just relegated to Lawrence.
No, it's not.
Racism is within the fabric of the DNA of America itself. It's what it was birthed on. It's what it was built on. Oh, yeah. So you really have two people who live
back
here.
400 some years of
racism. People and property. And when you start looking at things in that level at the science and reality and systems rooted in capitalism, which people try to use as this right here for you could be capitalism. You could build an economic base. You could build that's one piece of it. Capitalism is also a system of subjugation where you have a producer and a product. And when black and brown, yellow and red people are seen as products, then it's easy for you to be taken out, to be demeaned, to be demoralized. It's easy for you to be sent to schools where rats, roaches, mildew, mold, asbestos, and all that is there because you're seen as
air in the winter, in the summertime.
Listen, and it's still, that's why we was talking. We still like if its temperature gets to be 85, 90 degrees, what do?
They
let them out of school because of where they go to school. So
now it's becoming an environmental health issue.
But it also sends a message to these babies that they are not top tier in terms of the psychological reality of their existence.
Now, go to that for the understand what you're saying for the top tier reality of existence because they people look at us differently at a lower level.
Mm-hmm.
Now, going back to the point where does this have a lot to do with the economical based situation? Because taxpayers.
Yep.
I'm saying
it's the foundation of
it. Right, because public schools come from taxpayers.
Right. And when you go into West Windsor, even when you go into like
West Windsor got a brand new school.
Listen, when you go into those places, man, a lot of those schools look like colleges.
Like colleges.
What makes you feel so good about Trent Central High School now is those babies have the state-of-the-art resources that you see everywhere else other than Trent.
So
and now
how
it's here.
How we doing? Like, so y'all in the process. Because you see on this particular board,
right?
And how are you starting the process now to start doing things with other schools and
right? We are right, but the reality of it is you have to change what you just said, the tax base.
Right.
To change the tax base, you have to change what's happening with the people who are being taxed. Trend has entirely, and I want to preface this by saying I'm not disrespecting nobody. I'm one myself transitioning. Right. But I'm transitioning. No, you know how we do. When we talk about Trend has too many renters. Until we build and develop people from moving from renting to owning, the dynamic of our economic reality won't change because what you put into the cycle or to the circle is what exists there. And as long as we're dealing with the renters component instead of the owners component, our economic foundation will always be less. And if you're coming from less, you can't have more.
That's crazy. That's another thing that's embedded, with something that's also used to be passed down from family generation to generation.
Right.
My great grandfather owned his house.
Right.
My grandfather owned his house.
My
dad owned his house.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's been lost again. Like,
right.
I'm gonna rent an apartment, I'm rent a house.
Right.
Now you giving money. Not saying not nobody else as far as them. Taking care of their business as far as the property owners. I said, but you paying money to somebody when you develop some type of ownership,
right?
But it's equity.
But it's a mindset and mentality that has to be taught. Again, I worked and do security around Trenton Housing Authority, right? The majority of the people coming through housing complexes are indoctrinated to think they're getting over, that they're supposed to live there forever, right? And I'm not knocking them, but the housing authority, as its foundation, its ideology, a lot of times, my ED, Mr. Garrett, always tells me, our job is to empower people to understand this is just a starting point. Get your feet up under you, get your foundation, and that comes through, again, education. What he does is provide through the people working there economic opportunities, training, workshops, avenues with nonprofits who can build people from being renters to owners.
So this is another argument I have with people. I'm saying because we know we gotta hold the adults accountable.
No doubt.
But would you, in your opinion, would you focus more on the children right now, or would you try to, direct it towards more adults? Some people
it's both
set in their fucking ways, but they don't like fuck. I'm
right.
gonna do what I want to do.
Well, what I do,
I know I can't get to him.
Right.
Let me at least try to see if I can get to the generation after them.
Here's how I teach, bro. One of the things I do, I build with the babies. And I incorporate the parents in those lessons.
Right.
Because what I found is even a parent and a lot of our parents deal with depression, based on the historical reality they've dealt with. So what I say, but I've never seen or found a parent who I've gotten intimate with in terms of the relationship of building and teaching their child who does not support the work we're doing to make their child be their best. What I say to them when I talk to them, I can't go back and help whatever happened to you.
Right. Exactly.
You may have not gotten it when you came to the educational system. I said, but let's you and I commit to working to make sure your baby gets it.
Right.
And there have been no parents who walked away from that conversation saying, oh, F that. No, they're like, what do you need me to do? And that's why I say.
That's because it sparks this change within themselves as well.
Right. Because they may have every reason in the world to give up based on what their circumstances are. But you can inspire, you can affirm them to say, nah, you know what? I'm responsible for my child to have a better life than I had. And here's the things that's going to need to be done for me to sacrifice to do it. And it may just be things they picked up on, you know, buying an $800 watch or buying a PlayStation or buying the phones. All these things can be relegated to a level where we learn to sacrifice and deal with our wants and needs at a degree where I'm not saying you go without, but they need to have the thing that's going to perpetuate their growth and development.
Less distraction is better. Like the games and watching the phones.
I'll tell you, go talk to Principal Paula Bethea, and she'll tell you if she had her wish, none of them babies would bring no phones to school. Because all day long, that becomes that biggest distraction. Because even as adults, what do we do all day?
Yeah, I'll be at work.
You know what I mean? So if you say you want your child to go to school, to learn, to grow, to develop, and they're focused here, then the teachers, can you put that away? Can you put that away? Can you put that? So any energy directed towards anything other than the lesson is wasted energy.
Time,
so when you talk about how we can help build, how we can help grow, you know, things have to happen for us to do that. So, you know, that's why I said again, we have to work on the baby in front of us and the parent at home.
Right. We definitely have to do a part 2 to this.
Oh, no doubt.
Because
we ain't even touch on half the stuff. And you know, me and you get together. We don't need no format. It's everything. So let me know. You know, we doing a part 2.
Because they tried to shut us down the first time. Y'all seen that? Everything just stopped all at once.
That's it. We bring this heat back again.
But before we do wrap it up, real quick, you running?
Oh, no doubt, man. We about 2 years out, you know, from the mayoral election. We coming again. We actually never left the field. We on it. We fighting. You know, you see from a lot of mayoral candidates, even council candidates. Once the election is over, these people disappear because the goal they were looking to acquire is no longer there. So for them, they're showing you what their agenda was.
It was just getting office and that's it.
That's it. And if I can't get what I was looking to acquire, then I'm going to disappear because I'm no longer interested. To me, it is the greatest crime to run to be the leader of this city. And then when you don't acquire it, you take off. You said you want to lead this city, so you should remain involved.
More than one way to be a leader.
And it's always work. Like, I'm not a good friend with the mayor, meaning we're not on working allegiances. We don't work together on things, but I'm not going to not help him work to move the city forward.
Your goal is to help move the city forward regardless.
And what I mean by that, so nobody don't take it wrong with it, we don't work on projects together. But if he's working on something that benefits the city, I'm going to support it because if he loses, our city loses. But no, I'm coming in 2 years. My campaign manager, Elijah Dixon, is already locked and loaded. We're going to be kicking off some work beginning of this year because we want to be at a different place and space.
Different level
than last time. All that we showed last time was we can play on that level. And now this time, we're not coming to play. We're going to dominate.
So the campaign office going to be down at
same place. And if you look at him, he's now moved his thing to a whole nother level.
Yeah, I love that brother, man.
Listen, he's one of the most fiery rebel, and he's an indication, of what him and Nicole, you know, his beautiful girlfriend, are an indication of what can happen in this city.
I tell him that all the time. I love that shit. Like, I mean, I wish I could do more events down there. With the time I have, but I love the fact that he's a young black man, and I'm saying this community building it up. I'm saying from the ground up, like he put that building. He like literally,
bro. We seen that building.
Yes,
we saw it,
and with his bare hands, he built that to where it is now. Whoever never been down to the Orchid House, you need to get down there.
Right.
I just in my head, when I was doing events there, I remember the address on a regular basis.
You would be both.
It's right across from Daylight Twilight.
Right.
I mean the old Trent High. But is it Daylight Twilight now again?
Yeah, it still is. Still is.
So right across from the old from Daylight Twilight, right on East Hanover, right next to I think Sound of Trent used to be at.
Now you going back? Yeah, you going
Lamar Beaver Shop. Lamar's Beaver Shop.
Right there, right there, little spot. Yeah. So he right there, right next to the old the YW.
YW. Yeah.
Right. And he was actually working on the acquisition of that building. See, Elijah's a whole different type of
breed.
Different type of breed, man. His mind, like something you be like,
we can't 20s. So that generation right there, like
right.
So I do got hope for that young.
I'm be honest. Let me tell you something. Be honest. I wasn't gonna run. My mind was on running, but my heart wasn't committed to it. So I was talking to Elijah. Guess what he said? We could do this. this.
Yeah, no doubt. And
I was like,
when I seen it, I was like, yo, bro, let me know what I can do to help. Give me some flies, whatever. You know what I'm saying?
So we definitely coming though.
I'm definitely going to have you on the podcast for that. We're doing that
no
time going. We're going to get the people out there aware of what's going on.
We'll come back and talk about some issues.
I'm definitely here to support that.
Yeah.
But what would you change from the last time you ran to this time? What mistakes you made then that you trying to not repeat?
Really, education, right? We think that people are at a different place based on what we assume, and they're not.
Right.
The people on the ground level are really disconnected from civic duty, civic responsibility. Knocking on doors, there were people who didn't know who their councilmen were. They didn't know what they didn't know what an at-large person was.
None of that.
So the civic discourse that you're talking about has to be on continuously. Right. When you're educating people, part two is you have to let them know the power of the policy. Like right now, if you talk about Hermitage, right, where that whole complex sits and we're paying for it, but no businesses are there, that's a part of a policy that was put in place in an agreement.
It costs from the damn
closed library.
Closed library and the mini station that we not be paying for.
Right, that's sitting there. So again, when you talk about these things that happen, you have to let people know your elected officials have to sit in those seats and make decisions that are beneficial for you, but you have to work with them. So the second piece is making people understand the importance of policy, getting people registered, getting people engaged, not just so that I win, right? Mm-hmm. But so we build an army to mobilize, organize, and be constantly doing the work, whether it's public safety, whether it's education, whether it's infrastructure, whatever we're talking about that builds the social fabric and well-being of the city of Trenton. We need all the people involved in that.
Definitely, we need all the people. Yep. So before we get out here, though, let me let people know where to find you at, social medias, numbers, whatever.
Numbers, so it's Darren Freedom Green. Yeah, definitely. People know to find me on Facebook, Darren Green. Most people have my cell number on the high 609-209-0400. Email Darren Freedom. Darren Green 1969@gmail.com. Most people catch me through social media though, but I'm everywhere, anytime. We can definitely build. We coming. We're gonna definitely build continue the movement, not start. We're already on the ground doing the work. We want to just continue that. And I would ask you, as you look at where our city's at right now, when you look at where we are educational wise, when you look at public safety wise, where people are being shot and there's a disconnect between law enforcement, the administration, the people, where there's not even an acknowledgement. A horrific incident happened in Lawrence Township, and the next day, the police department had a press conference, charges were put on to people, and you were seen or acknowledged or educated on what occurred, and you were informed on what they were doing about it. Now, are they done? No. But they at least let you know something horrific occurred and that there's work being done to correct it, and those who did it are responsible for it. Ask yourself in Trenton, have you seen that? And then the last piece I would say with the infrastructure. If $1 million projects come to this city, whether you're talking about the baseball field, the Cure Bank Arena, the Trent Central High School.
Changed names like 3-4 times already.
Right. So when you talk about anything being built here, the first conversation before anything gets talked about is we need to put into writing. So it's just like Maynard Jackson did in Atlanta, a percentage, what you said, 70, put on paper where those resources stay right here. Think about it. A new courthouse was built downtown, and they have
no parts of that.
No parts of that. And then the one up top, the old courthouse was rebuilt. No parts of that. And this is all work being done inside the city of Trenton. So ask yourself, when you have people struggling. Right, we got companies here.
Yeah, capable companies like Tracy Sopfax.
Listen, every contractor here, right, needs to be working with the economic development director for the city, which will be under my administration, who will be meeting bi-monthly to make sure their certifications are up to speed, their insurances, but their skill sets are at a place where I can give you this $300,000 project, and you can use it to help benefit you, your family, this business, but other small businesses, because like you see a lot of subcontracts happen too.
Exactly.
But as long as that money, but as long as that money stays circulating right here in the city of Trenton, we address one of our biggest issues, which is never discussed, which is poverty. And poverty not only demoralizes the economic well-being of people.
That's a whole other conversation.
Listen, we're going to have another show on that. But no, we coming, bro. We look forward to building with you about it.
Always, bro. Like, people don't understand, like, people don't know you, don't say, at least I can let him sit and talk and build like this because he does have his own radio. You do have
no
your own
doubt.
radio
Oh yeah, on Friday night we had WIMG 1300. My man Ron Davis is the producer. 8 to 9 p.m. every Friday we do our thing, community-based radio, entrepreneurs, anybody coming through the tri-state area who wants to come on and platform themselves and talk about what they're doing so we could promote. Like yesterday we had the mayoral candidate from out Hamilton.
Oh yeah, I see. They got a commercial on. That's in the commercial with her. Is it the young lady, right?
Yeah, it's the lady's the incumbent, and then the guy Jeff is coming in. He's the council president running for mayor. So we brought him on because we don't just want to be relegated to. We want to be the tri-state area. We want to be without mercy. We want to be not local but global in terms of our impact.
That's exactly. People understand, and you understand where I'm coming from, man. Because I tell people all the time, like my platform is here. It's always going to be here. This is home. You know what I'm saying? And with this platform, maybe I got the capability of bringing other people to our city.
No doubt.
Let them see what's
you
going
putting
on
the word out there through
I mean?
these tools. It now goes from being local to global.
Global. Exactly.
All right.
Like, so you let people know where you can find you at, right?
Yeah, I let them know. So they definitely got it. So I appreciate you, bro. And we'll be back.
We'll definitely be back. So listen, man, y'all make sure y'all tune on Friday nights.
Friday nights, baby. And then connect with me on social media, Darren Green on social media.
Darren Green
we
from there.
do what we do.
You know what I'm saying? Definitely, we need your support for that. We need to get someone in there. Not saying that, the mayor presently that's in there, I know what he's doing, but we like to see someone in there that's gonna, work hard as for the community as other people do. So we want to make sure we vote for the right people, man.
Right.
People don't understand. Voting on a local level is way more important than on the federal level. Don't get it wrong. I'm saying you gotta get the other guy out of there.
Or
at the same
I'll
time,
say it like this: all elections are important, but what happens locally impacts you daily.
Daily, exactly.
You got a raggedy mayor, you got a raggedy council, you got a raggedy freehold. Any office you want to name locally, that directly impacts your quality of life every day. You need to be having individuals who talk, are about, who are for, and who are with your well-being going into that office.
So when we had this conversation, I think it had to be around 2014, 15, something like that. You said you wasn't running for mayor.
Right.
I remember we talked about that.
and like I said, I got moved into a mental space where I saw it was needed.
No, to bring this up. It was a situation for a moment, if you mind talking about it. Well, there's like a lot of things going on, right? People hoarding, you know what I'm saying? Not hoarding, squatting in the houses and stuff like that.
No doubt.
I think it's a situation where you got caught up with the landlord.
Oh, no doubt. My landlord, I had stayed where I was staying for like over 19 years. My landlord died, unfortunately, of cancer. His family was trying to figure out what they were going to do with the property, moving it forward. He had already asked me to stay there, take care of the property, make sure all the things that he had stored in the basement were of well-being. He also used the address there because he was a director for the city of Trenton. And again, you have to live in Trenton to work and run Trenton.
Right.
So I just stayed, I stayed there for over 19 years. So if I'm staying there for 19 years, how am I hoarding? How am I doing something illegal? What happened was, because of his demise and his death, it got backed up in taxes. So when they came through and told me that, I said to the sheriff officer, do I need to leave now? They was like, nah, there's a date for you to be out. Boom, boom, boom. The family's going to figure out because it's already been taken over and bought by somebody at an auction. I said, fine. I called the paper and let them know what I was doing and what was going on. They was like, nah, you're a tenant. It falls on to the, whoever,
to the landlord.
So property, again, when the incident was there, it was cool. When the election started and the numbers changed, that's what happened. When they did a poll and seeing where I was at and where I was running, because I was out front, then they used that story, to undermine. Because all this time I've been there and I've never had a problem with that. Why would it be a problem now? And then why would I even play games like that?
It's kind of crazy. It came around the same time the election was going on. I'm like,
but they used that, and it undermined my stability with progressive thinkers, with the middle class, because they're like, Freedom on some old craziness. He can't be mayor. And it did exactly what they needed to do. Yeah. So now,
at that time, the issue was a big thing. People squatting and taking houses.
And it had just came after a big story of somebody using that kind of stuff offline to do that.
Right.
So we ain't doing nothing like that, man. What I said was, it illustrates how commonplace people go through things on a grassroots level. I didn't run from it, didn't deny. You do what you do. I've been living where I've been living. I'm living somewhere else now. I'm good. was good then, but why would I stay somewhere all them years and play them? But
it shows how dirty politics is as well. I mean,
and
they
to your point, that's why a lot of people who are really phenomenal creative thinkers don't get into politics, because I'm not going to say they can't stand a background check, but you deal with people really like illuminating all aspects of your life, and people not really up for all that. Yeah. You know, but that's something you got to go through if you want to lead a city. And I don't have no problem going through that.
All right, that's what's up, bro.
All right, appreciate you having me on, baby. All right.
So this is your boy Just. I'm saying Global Unlimited Podcast. You give you shout outs to everything, everybody.
Everybody who's out there supporting how we do with the movement. To all the people who are teaching the babies, to all the principals. Shout out to our new superintendent. Yeah. You know, he's doing his job. We're doing our job. Shout out to all the local elected officials who are on point. But to the people in the city of Trenton, you see what you're going through. You see what you've been through. If you want something new, you got to build with something new. If you bring back the same old relics and things that have brought you to where you are, a new chapter, a new future won't be a part of your new reality, because you got to make a choice. We coming in 2 years. We right here, right now in the trenches fighting as always. You're going to have a chance to make a choice. I'm not waiting around to make no damn announcements. I'm telling you, I've always wanted to be the mayor of this city, and we're going to continue to do this work. Shout out to my main man and my brother, Elijah Dixon. Love him, his girl, Nicole, and everybody who's involved with making Trenton a better place. We love you and we respect you.
Real quick, speaking of change, what do you think about the new chief of police? Young lady that's
Director Coley. I think she's an amazing woman. And I think Trenton really conquered a few barriers, putting her in position. Okay. She has the technical expertise to do the job. She's been in that work for over 30 plus years. Started as a patrolman, moved to being a chief. I mean, the police chief and director in Newark, and I think I want to say, but I'm not really sure. She was chief in 2 places, Newark and one East Orange. Okay. So she's done this in major cities. She's striving to do it here. A lot of the work that has to be done has to, again, go through a process. And she's trying to get more feet on the ground. She's trying to build more community policing relationships. She's an amazing woman and a great leader.
Definitely. I look forward to her doing a lot of great things, man.
Yeah.
I'm excited when I heard that we do have a female.
Matter of fact, let's keep talking. I can try to get her on here to lay out where she's going with things.
That's perfect.
Yeah, because
Howard is trying to definitely get a good relationship with the police.
No doubt. And you want to hear from the chief what the vision is. Yeah. So get her on, let her talk.
Definitely. All right. On that, you know what I mean? Once again, shout out to everybody who tune in, who support us. I'm saying always shout out to my wife, because she don't watch it, but
you better shout out.
Because I don't shout out. That's what she watching. So I'm gonna shout out. I know she's not watching. But shout out to my wife as always. My kids, my family, everybody support me. My man, Blessed Child. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to him. You know what I'm saying? He's the sponsor for the Blog Talk Radio.
Salute.
You know what I'm saying? Stretched Out Radio. So, as always, a huge shout out to Miss Howard. For letting us do our thing
doing
here.
Great work here. Shout out to Miss Howard.
Yes,
man. She let people know to contact, come by here, build with her, and we need to invest in her.
She's signing in out, so okay. If you don't.
Okay. But she's doing great work here with the computers. She's in the old Briggs Library out east. And she's she's doing great work. And what I love about it is she reaches a lot of the babies who are kicked out, put out, and who aren't in school. They don't know the work that she does.
Actually, it's a program, one of the first programs I ever heard of. If your kid's suspended,
come here.
At home, you come
here. Because if those kids are rambling around the streets, running crazy, what are they doing? Not learning, not growing, not developing, and normally getting into things that'll make the situation worse, not better. Shout out to Miss Howard.
That's right. We here. You know what I'm saying? This is Global Unlimited Podcast. Don't forget, we were back with the Kids Podcast. Kids Speak every Wednesday. You know what I mean? So, they got a platform. I'm saying they got a voice. They need to be heard. You know what I'm saying? These kids need to be in the forefront. That's my thing as always. So shout out to Ms. Howard. Howard Health Choices Cultural Center here at 1115 Greenwood Avenue, Trenton, New Jersey, man. It's your boy Just, Mr. Darren Freedom Green, the legend, the man himself. You know what I'm saying? So make sure y'all vote. Get out there, support this brother. You know what I'm saying? We need to change for our city for the better. So we can grow and do better things. So it's your boy Just, and we out. Peace. You definitely want to need a part 2 because
all right.